You're listening to the Jam Price Show, all about movies. And today, my guest is award winning documentary film producer, Spencer Proffer. Welcome back to the show, Spencer.
Thanks, Jan. Good to see you again.
Oh,
And
it's
I
good
hope
to
your
see you.
move from back east to Santa Barbara is a good one.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm loving Santa Barbara, just loving it. It's a great place. We're going to talk about your new, you have so many things going on. So it's a question of where we start. But the most important one is your new documentary, American Pie, The Day the Music Died. And I want to tell you, I couldn't stop singing that song with an earworm last night going over. It still is this morning, too. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful documentary. It really is, Spencer. You've done a fabulous job with it. So our audience knows, I mean, they should know, but tell the audience a little bit about what American Pie, The Day the Music Died is all about.
Well, what it's about is a song that's permeated pop culture from the time that Don Mclean wrote it brilliantly when he was coming up in the early 70s. And it stuck around, and it has been a number one song and sold over 50 million copies around the world because it's touched people's hearts, souls, and curiosity. And what we've done with Don's complicity and blessing and the help of a whole good team that I put together, from his manager to the team that I use on my work, we're really taking a journey into how the song has touched people's minds, hearts, and souls. There's some reveals to what Don meant when he talked about the jester, when he talked about the king, the crown, all these things that I'm not going to reveal on this interview, but you need to tune into my partners at Paramount Plus, who are the most fantastic streaming company I've ever worked with. And that you can find out July 19th, Paramount Plus. Dial in and subscribe.
Yes,
And I
definitely.
don't work for them and I don't have enough stock, but I'm saying it out of my heart.
Well, good, because I was going to ask, where can people watch this? Now we know, but we'll repeat that again towards the end of the interview so people know where they can watch this.
Well, they can
Wonderful.
see it, by the way, Jan, sorry to interrupt, but they can actually see it a little before because we're doing a two-night event at National Amusement Theaters, uh, 3 or 4 days before we premiered on Paramount Plus, and we're doing a Academy Golden Globe Award run in theaters. Um, I think it's July 8th through the 14th. So we're going to go the National Amusements event nights, and then Paramount Plus is going to do day and date in about 20, 25 countries around the world.
Um,
Very proud of the way that everybody has coalesced. I give Bruce Gilmer and his team, he's president of music at Paramount and Viacom, a tremendous amount of props and kudos for helping me put this all together.
It's amazing how you're rolling this out. It's just a phenomenal way that you're doing this. It's a little different than most people would roll out a documentary. So kudos to you. And that's because you're a game changer in this industry.
Well,
You do things very differently. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I just care a lot. I grew up as a poor kid. God bless Clive Davis, hired me out of law school to work for him. I learned a lot, ran a couple of companies, and being on the street raising my two kids, one of which, Sterling, is a co-producer and he's a brilliant millennial marketing exec. He helped on the ground floor of Vice Media, and for 35, he knows more than I'll ever know about marketing. And Bethany Claypool, my head of marketing, used to be at Fathom for 13 years. She really knows her way around. And the Paramount Plus people are just spectacular to work with because they work through all their platforms over at Viacom, which is CBS, Paramount, MTV, VH1, CMT. What a fantastic team who really understand music. So this was the natural place to take an iconic song that is an icon of pop music, American Pie, and have them be the ones to bring it to the world.
And how did you come to this project?
Through people who knew people who knew people.
Isn't that the way it always is, right?
Yeah, but I met Don's manager who really knows what he's doing. His name is Kurt Webster, and I said I was interested in doing taking a look at the journey of the song. From then till now, we have three different new versions of the song by young people. Jade Bird is a fantastic 24-year-old singer that we got Lady Gaga and Brandy Carlisle's producer, Ed Kopp, to produce that. We have a Spanish language version done by Mafio and Giancarlos, who have well over six figures of socials. Actually, Giancarlos and his Instagram, I think, I don't know if it's Facebook, Twitter, millions of followers. So they're going to take it out to the Latino markets, and MTV Latin is a big initiative within the Viacom group. All of these things coalesce and work together. And to me, I just love to gloat. I'm very proud to make Don proud because Don is the poet. Don is a brilliant, brilliant talent who has not lost an inch of his talent today, 50 years later.
No, and he just won another award. I just got a press release this morning. He just received the, oh, what is it? I wrote it down. It's the multi-platinum award for American Pie from Universal Music Canada.
Yeah.
And then he also got a platinum award for Vincent from Universal Music Canada. That, I keep getting press releases almost a weekly basis about another award that Don Mclean has received for American Pie. It's just
Oh, well
amazing.
deserved. And Vincent, where I
Yes.
have a book division and we've done an illustrated children's book that is just fantastic. It's almost a prequel to the inspiration behind American Pie. And it teaches kids about hope, faith, and inspiration and friendship. And we're going to start the Vincent book shortly
Good.
after that, because that to me is one of the greatest poems and songs in pop culture history. So I give a lot of kudos. I'm very proud to know Don and be next to him because he wrote these things. My job is to help get it to the next stage. And believe me, between Ed Sheeran and Josh Groban, people who have covered Vincent, boy, oh boy, were those good. But American Pie, Garth Brooks has probably paid more homage to that song than any living artist other than Don. And he is front and center in our doc too. And Garth is one of the best artists that has ever touched music. So you put it all together, tune into Paramount Plus and watch it.
For sure, for sure. The Vincent Van Gogh exhibit is here at our Santa Barbara Art Museum right now, and I've gone to see it. It's amazing. It really is
It's
amazing. So,
immersive, it's fantastic, and we're hoping to integrate our Vincent Children's book with that next year. But let's talk about American Pie.
I was just gonna say, let's go back to American Pie because you have a book out for American Pie also. So let's talk about
Children's book
that.
is an illustrated children's book. I can even, for your viewers, hold up the cover.
Yay!
There it is. And I'm
It's
very, very proud to say it's Don has blessed us with the ability to go into his heart, his soul, his mind to find out what he was like as a paper boy growing up in New Rochelle. You see that in our doc, but then you actually see the journey of the song in our doc and the spirit in the book. It's really pretty cool.
And how did you get Peter Gallagher to be the narrator for this children's book?
Well, Peter Gallagher is one of my favorite talents as both an actor, stage, and screen. And he was a big part of a show on NBC produced by Lionsgate called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Actually, it was one of my wife's favorite shows, and she used to Judy, who is also brilliant, actually, even more so than anybody I know. And she thought that the last episode, which was a tribute to the character Peter played, they did a 7-minute tribute with all the cast singing American Pie. And it made such logical sense to get in touch with Peter, which I was able to, learn from him that he had seen Don McLean when he was in college performing American Pie. So we worked out, oh, it's just serendipitous. So we worked it out. He came to LA. I actually took him in the studio, produced it myself, and he did a wonderful job. We filmed him, so he's in the doc as well as reading the book that will come out through IPG and Audible. So everything kind of helps everything else, all a tribute to Don and his song.
Yeah, and it's just how pervasive the song is and how all the different generations. You have, young people who are familiar with the song singing it, and you have, people in their 80s who are singing this song. I mean, it crosses all boundaries. There's no one who doesn't, know this song and doesn't love it, and knows all the words to it. I don't remember the words to any songs but this
Well, you know
song.
what? Not that it's a campfire song, but I think it's universal. And
Yes.
I'm hoping that MTV International and Paramount Plus will work with a couple of territories where, if they're English speaking, it's clear. If not, the translations, like the Spanish version that Mafia and Giancarlo's did, those lyrics, those spirits translate to all countries, all people. And again, a tribute to Don for being the poet that he is. So
Yes.
very, very proud to be the gatekeeper, not the gatekeeper, he and Kurt Webster are the gatekeepers, but the propeller to bring it out. Thank you, Paramount Plus, for believing in the vision.
Right. But where did you get some of the archival footage you have of Don actually writing the song? I mean, it just sort of flowed from him. It was like a God-given, it was just almost like, the angels and God were just sort of, using him as a funnel for the song, it appears, because he said it came out so quickly.
Well,
Where did you find all that footage?
I didn't find it. I can't take credit. I give Don and Kurt credit. They found the footage. Now, Mark Moorman, my director, and his staff, and Nick Webb, our editor, knew how to put it and integrate it into the storytelling. And we did it in a very logical way. So we cut back, we cut in, we go to Clear Lake, we see where Buddy Holly's plane crashed. We talk to Richie Valens, sister. It's poignant, it's historical, but it's not a Wikipedia entry. It's cinematic. Our director is a very polished cinematographer, and so he personally shot a lot of this. And I don't know, I feel very blessed to have been able to assemble a team to bring Don's vision forward to hopefully 50 years from now.
I think the song will always be around. Here we are 50 years later having this wonderful discussion
Longer
about
than
the
you and
song.
I, Jen. Longer than us. But
Yeah.
I'm all about heritage. I'm all about legacy, and I'm all about, and this song is a legacy song. Don's a legacy artist who has never lost his mojo. So I'm very, very proud to be next to him.
Yeah, and the fact that Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly, who all died together, um, if it wasn't for their song, even though they were so well known and everything during that era, it was 1959, I believe, when they died. Um, but this song has kept their spirits alive all these years too, and that's what's really the testament to this, too, that he's helped keep them alive. They might have just been a footnote in music history, perhaps, had it not been for
That's
the
why
song.
Well, that's why we decided, with Don's blessing, not to call it American Pie, but to call this The Day the Music Died, because that being the title is truly a testament to it was, but the song is not, it's a tribute to Buddy Holly, but it's not about Buddy Holly. If you listen to 8 minutes, we're not doing 8 minutes of a Buddy Holly tribute. It's a whole journey that you take. You listen to the lyric, you hear it. You might interpret it differently than somebody in Tuscaloosa and somebody in Saigon. But the bottom line is, it will touch everybody's soul because there's something in it for everybody. And you see that in our film.
Right. I definitely do. Let's talk so Richie Haven's sister is in this. Talk a little about that meeting that they had, Richie's.
I wasn't there. It was in Clear Lake, Iowa, which is where the Surf Ballroom is located. Surf Ballroom was the last place that Buddy played, and adjacent to the Surf Ballroom is the Field of Dreams that I think Costner, who is brilliant, the Yellowstone is one of the best shows on TV, again, through the Paramount family. But that's where the plane crashed. And so that's where Connie Valens lives. And that's where Don Mclean played a tribute concert just recently for the 50th anniversary. So they met, and what you see in our film is a result of that meeting, which is very poignant and very heartfelt and very pure.
Yeah, it really is very touching. That meeting there. There's so many wonderful things in this film. As you say, you have Garth Brooks, you've got John Mayer, you've got Bon Jovi, you've got Madonna, and the list goes on and on of all the different artists who have covered the song.
Well, I'm very proud of the new young artist. Willa Amai is a 17-year-old new artist that is produced by Linda Perry. She's in the film. Jade Bird is fantastic. I think she is the next gen superstar. She does a great cover. It's coming out as a single through Glassnote, I think on June 3rd in many countries around the world. Glassnote is a great independent label that has, I think, Phoenix and Mumford and Sons, and Jade is busting out. And then the Spanish language version by Mafio and Giancarlos is just great. It's kind of reggae tinged, but it shows that this song can be dressed up many suits of colors, many suits of clothes and many colors to permeate.
Yes, it definitely can be. Let's talk a little bit about the what was it called? The lip dub.
The lip dub.
The lip dub. I've never heard that expression before. So is that
I never heard that before this.
okay,
And
good. I'm not the only one then. All right.
oh
Let's
no,
talk about
I never even knew what it was until I think it was Kurt, um, Don's manager, actually, and Don said, in 2012, the city of Grand Rapids was having some PR issues, and they felt that the song permeated the spirit of the unity of the city. So, like the opening scene in La La Land, but this happened 8 years before that, the entire town congregated under the production auspices of a couple, Rob Bliss and Scott, and a couple of very visionary young guys. And they got 5,000 people going through the streets of the city singing American Pie, filming it. And there's firemen, there's Indians, there's doctors, there's lawyers. And it really shows the applicability of the song to a community and to a culture. And they filmed that, and I think they got millions of YouTube views, probably the most successful aggregation of people singing a song in a city. And that's part and parcel in our film. And a young group called Home Free, that's an a cappella group, actually talks about that and how they did an a cappella version, new version with Don as well, which is featured. So it just shows the many different faces of this song, which is fantastic.
it is fantastic. And you're now working on a Broadway show also about this
Yeah,
song?
we have plans to. I'm working with two very seasoned, experienced Broadway impresarios and producers, Corey Brunish and Russell Miller. And once this thing gets out, when Don comes back from his world tour, we are going to develop this doc and bring it forward into the stage with some more original songs from Don. Yeah.
Wonderful. I can't wait to see that. I want to come to the opening for sure,
And
Spencer.
it's going to be in a couple of years, so just stay healthy.
All right, definitely too. Well, listen, I think you're the busiest working man in Hollywood right now. So you've got some other amazing projects going on also. Let's talk a little bit, can we talk about, you can tell me what you can tell me. I know some things are
Well,
highly
I can.
secret about your Elvis Presley
Anyone,
project.
anyone who reads and is internet savvy can go to my company's site, Meteor 17, www.meteor 17. Proud of that company and my people there. But we're in production. Thank you, Steve Binder, who was the visionary director who helped bring Elvis's career to another level when he directed the comeback special, the infamous NBC comeback special. We are making a documentary for my friends at Paramount Plus on the making of that, bringing Steve's book that he wrote about it to life. Baz Luhrmann graced us with the foreword to the book, and his movie. Steve acted as a consultant to his film, which Warner Brothers is putting out on June 24th. And we're putting all of this together as the next project on the heels of American Pie and The Day That Music Died. Very proud of that. John Scheinfeld, who directed, excuse me, my John Coltrane film, I think.
Right. I've had John on the show before. I've had John on the show. Yeah, when
Yeah,
he got,
John's a fantastic
he's
director.
great. I had him on for the Sergio Mendes documentary that he did, and I had Sergio on with him. So that was a wonderful interview. And actually I met them at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and they put on a show. Well, John didn't put on the show, but Sergio Mendes put on
No,
a show
Sergio
for us.
was great. Well, see, Dave Harding, who worked with me as a producer on this film, has been working with John for over 5 years. He worked on my Coltrane film. They worked on a Hope You Dance film that I made with Maya Angelou, Brian Wilson, and Graham Nash. So I'm a big believer in people who like each other, trust each other, and are really talented. Work together, you stay together. I think Scorsese's had the same Thelma Schumacher editor for all of his films. Steven Spielberg has used John Williams to score his films through all of his great history. So I'm also a believer. You find a team that works, that like and respect each other, and you got each other's backs. And that's what we've done here. And we've had a lot of support from Don and his manager, and in particular from the people at Viacom and Paramount Plus. Bruce Gilmer is the EP of this film. He's the president of music at the studio there, and just fantastic people to work with on a regular basis.
Yeah, and well, we have the new Elvis movie opening up. I think it's going to be at the Cannes Film Festival, if I'm not mistaken. And there's already Oscar buzz about the Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann uh, film about Elvis, and the
That's
young.
not ours. Ours is a cousin.
Right,
Our
I understand that, but it's nice to have, if that's the conversation that people start having about Elvis, and then your documentary comes
I
in
come
after that.
behind it next year.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
And
perfect. It's just, perfect timing again.
I can't say that there's not an accident here because there's not. It's by design. I can tell you I'm working on a Stephen Schwartz journey documentary. Stephen wrote Wicked, Godspell, Pippin, and Universal is making a double feature of Wicked starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And Stephen has blessed me with the right to be his partner to talk about his journey, not just Wicked, but Godspell, Prince of Egypt, um, Pocahontas, a lot of his work, but that's in the oven. And I'm really just proud to be next to visionary talent, be it Steve Bender, be it Don Mclean, be it, lots of others, because I kind of am a fan of their work.
Well, I think they're a fan of your work too, because
Well, my job is to bring their work forward. It has been. I'm just looking at it through a different lens. Now that I'm older, I got glasses. I can see clearer now.
it's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Well, you got glasses too, so it's all right.
Hey, I noticed in the background that you have some African, looks like African mask from here. I know you have a connection with Johannesburg. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you're doing over there?
Well, I'm a big, big fan of African culture, a big believer in the Mandela anti-apartheid struggle. In 1997, I quarterbacked the music for Showtime to a movie called Mandela and de Klerk, starring Sidney Poitier and Michael Caine. And I actually did the score in South Africa in a treehouse in Johannesburg. And I met a lot of wonderful people there. And flash forward to the Coltrane film, one of John's biggest albums is called The Blue Train. And there is a blue train, like an Orient Express quality train, going from Pretoria, capital of South Africa, to Cape Town. I premiered our film on the blue train. I brought Ronnie Laws, Eloise Laws, and a couple of great jazz artists over. They jammed with some great jazz artists headed by Don Laka, who's Hugh Masekela's producer in South Africa. And I set up an office in Johannesburg with a very dear friend of mine, and I'm very close to a guy named Papi Molasante. Papi was the chairman of Telecom, which is the AT&T of South Africa, and he's been my consigliere and my guru with all things connected. And we're working with the Mandela Children's Hospital, doing charitable work for them, where Papi helped Nelson Mandela get that going. And I'm producing a number of media projects with some of the leading people of South Africa to bring it forward, because I like the concept, like Quincy did with China and like Richard Branson has done. I like bringing cultures together. That's why there's a Spanish language version of American Pie, and there will be some South African produced projects that I'm going to bring to America.
No, I told you that South Africa's near and dear to my heart too. So, yeah, that's wonderful. Love what you're doing. Absolutely love what you're doing. Okay, before we sadly have to end this conversation, where are just one more time so everybody knows where they can see the day the music died.
The day the music died will premiere. I feel like I'm a infomercial here. uh, on Paramount Plus on July 19th. and it will probably hit 20 to 30 countries at the same time. But anyone watching or listening to your show, Jan, is probably in America, so watch it on Paramount Plus. Or if you're in the Northeast, go to the National Amusement Theaters, because they will do an event night, I believe on the 14th and 17th of July, just to tee it up. And I think people will enjoy it. It's not a generic Wikipedia doc. It really has a lot of heart and soul to it.
Yeah, it does. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful documentary. Well, congratulations on
Well,
it.
thank you, Jen. Thank you for having me back. And I can't help myself, but once I open my mouth, I keep talking. But,
You make
but I care.
you
I,
make my job easy.
you know what? I like to pass on information because I care about the subject matter. Else, why bother? Why do the work if you don't enjoy the process?
Exactly, 100%. Well, Spencer, it's such a pleasure having you back on the show
Thank you.
and seeing you this time. Last time it was just audio, so it's nice to see you this time. So thank you so much, and I wish you much success with the day the music died.
Fingers crossed, but I'm proud. Listen, if it's a noble failure, it'll be that, but I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think
think so, not at all.
this thing has a shot of winning awards and doing well for Don and his legacy, which
I
I
think
think is tremendous.
I definitely agree. Thank you. If
Thank
you
you.
have missed any of the Jan Price shows all about movies, you can go to my website, thejanpriceshow.com, where all my shows are archived. And you can also go wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, the iHeart Podcast Network, Spotify, Google, Apple, you name it, we are there. Also go to my YouTube channel. And while you're there, like us and subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Jan Price Show. Thank you all for listening.